wanna know your dark side. I wanna know your secrets. I wanna be your lifeline. So I wait for you, wait for me. Wait for you, wait for me. Tell me you're more than just a highlight. Pretty pictures on the outside. I hate to stare at you through these lights. So I wait for you, wait for me. Wait for you, wait for me. Click and scroll, I can't let you go. They say I'm addicted to you. Click and scroll, I can't let you go. They say I'm addicted to you. Oh, oh, this ain't love, no, no. This ain't love, no, no. This is artificial. This ain't love, no, no. This ain't love, no, no. This is artificial.
For the meetup to start. If you guys excuse us while we just crack on, you get your beers and join us. Welcome to 73rd, I guess, Dev Club here at Stockenberg again. For tonight we have two talks, both are by DEVCLUB very own people. One is Alexander, that is over there, will be talking about how difficult it is actually to properly test computer software, or how it is not difficult. We'll see about that. And Erwin, Google developer, the guy associated with Google developer stuff, Google developer program, will introduce Google APIs and the developer toolkit for that. Please welcome on stage our first speaker, Alexander.
First of all, prepare some fitness for you. How many developers on board? I am developer. Really? How many managers on board? We have the developers manager on one side, yeah? And how many guys who really test something on board? All other than another? Yeah?
Only this.
Okay. I see developers never test your code. Yeah, I know. Of course. No time, yeah? No time. Time for creating, but no time for testing. I will know about it. Today I will be trying to speak about very interesting topic, changing mindset. Why I decided to present all of this? Because I started my developer's career. Firstly, I was a developer, C developer, and started my career after, I think, at the last courses in university. I goes to some company and started works as a C programmer for embedded devices. And I decided to speak about all of this. I'll try to switch it. Yeah. Why this question is coming on board? Some times ago, it was half years ago, I think, one of my friends has come to me and say, Alex, you have so big experience, 25 with something years in development. Can you speak with young people who want to be a quality assurance specialists? It was a web conference, something like this, online web conference. And this was the last slide of my presentation. You have these questions last time? That's all? I can go, yeah? Thank you. Yeah? Okay. Try to answer these questions. What, guys, you thinking? What's more difficult, create something or test something?
Keep it running.
May I suggest it's not? Because creating software assumes as well dealing with feedback from testing software. So that you first like build something, you put it out there, then you like for testing, then you discover, okay, this doesn't work as a spec, then you go deal with feedback, and then you deal with ever-growing complexity, and then all that. No?
Something like this, yeah. I think the testing is more hard of a developer, because I both in both sides and one and another. And if you try to test something, you need to understand what you're testing. That's a very good example. Finally, you found the money for house of your dream, yeah, and you decided to build it. How will be prepared? Usually, you go to special company whose specialization of the architecture of all thing, and this company goes to CTO of your company, and he will be created vision, documentation, blah blah blah. What you needed? What you will be do afterwards? Yeah, you will be hire some guys, constructor guys, some guys. You know these guys. I think all you prepare maybe some small rebuilding in your flat on your house. You know how it's difficult. You'll hiring all of this. Will come the guys who will be prepared for all of this for you, and who will be check the quality? What do you think? Usually you, yeah, personally. And you're a big specialist in civil construction. Yeah, and results, you see results, yeah, in all of the places. Of course, it's not normal. You'll be hiring the normal civil engineers with the big experience. He'll become to you with a big amount of the tools, systems, and every day check what your construction guys produce. You see the difference, yeah? Your approach is the same what you use in Estonia. It's usually we hiring developers. Afterwards, we hire some, I don't know, painter who check their software, and results you see. Okay, how it looked like 20 years ago in Estonia. Why I speak about it? Because when I finished my short developer's career, I prepared the code during the 2-3 years, and it was so many years ago, and you remember this time, I think, some of you who was born before remember this time, and I can found the good places for work as a C developers in Tallinn, and I decided, yeah, forgot about it, I will be prepare some business, do something like this. As a result, I started works as a, I don't know, cleaning parking supervisor till CEO of small company, but it's the same of cleaning parking supervisor. It's the same idea. And after the 5 years of this works, I decided, come on, Alex, what's I doing? You pass the university 5 years, your work as a software developer. Why you do all this strange thing? And I decided looking around and try to find the company who works in the IT field. And I sent it there, my CV in different places, and one of the company answers, hey, comes to interview. But it does interview and quality assurance engineers. For me, okay, I will be test what developers created. Why not? I come to interview. You see, this is my first interview in the company where I prepare the C programming. These questions asked me and answered. It's not so difficult. But now, the quality assurance engineers interview, I will be very good prepared and read again the C language books, something like this, look on the seat, but I coming to interview, it was interesting. The first question was like this. It was only one question during my interview. Yeah, I immediately answered. The London is the capital of Great Britain, yeah? Because so many years ago, we haven't so many people who speak in English very well, yeah? And the first task for quality assurance engineer, it was read the documentation in English. And we can find the people who can do it. In Estonia, it was not so bad. We have some people, but for example, in St. Petersburg, Study University, have 0 people with English knowledge. The IT people, 0. Not 0, maybe something. And all linguistic ladies will be hiring for quality assurance engineers. All. Yeah, of course, the task was not so difficult, something like this. Add something to the test track. Look in the Excel is the best tool for quality assurance engineers, and this time goes to the some test. This is very difficult task, yeah? It's one of the first task in the job. Install the 2 different OS in one system, in one box, yeah? It was difficult, yeah? I spent, I think, 1 hour. Good. And you see the salary, yeah? Why the salary is coming? Developers, half of QA. Why? You know? It's very easy to answer. Because when some businessman from the IT come and look what developers do, he tried to do the same. Oh, come on. It's so difficult. Quality assurance. Test something. Yeah, I will be test this. No problem. But how it's tested? Only press some button, that's all. Yeah, manual testing. Forgot about it. Nice. This is a picture what we have 20 years ago. And we go to the next slide. Now, nowadays. How it looks like nowadays? Something like this. This is a requirement for software developers. Who have this nice MIT diploma? No? Nobody? Okay. Who knows about Git? All? Yeah. Something about agile development, something about database, Java. That's all. Good. I will go to interview. That's some programming questions like this. Of course, something more, you will ask you. And if you answer to all questions, you can prepare some code. Nothing more, yeah? Ready to go. And now we'll be look a little bit to some requirement for quality assurance engineers. When we first look at the quality assurance engineers requirement, maybe this is missing too, but now it's coming. Yeah, somebody will ask you about some source system, maybe about database, some questions, maybe some questions about object-oriented programming, maybe, of course, some questions about Jira or tool like this. And yeah, modern thing like Appium, Selenium, and all United Kingdom company will be first ask you is TQB certificate. Without it, you can come. In our country, I think it's not a problem. But I think it's not all. Something other will be added on board too. Because the other thing, what you need to know, something like, added something more. Sorry, in our company, they haven't only one database. You need to know another databases. Yeah, also API you need to test. Also we had a front end, back end, all other thing. Yeah, good. It's not all, because we need added something maybe else, like this, yeah, and like this. Yeah, of course you need to be a specialist in Dockers. You know about Jenkins, TeamCity, Azure, how it's named now, DevOps Azure, yeah? You need to know about it. Something must check a performance. You need to know about JMeter, something like this. Maybe that's all, yeah? Who knows? No, it's not all. Because also you need to know Python, because of course during your test you will implement some artificial intelligence. It's needed for quality assurance specialist. Yeah.
But how do you think the software on this stack is created? Because engineers, of course, also do know all that, right?
Yeah, but only one thing. If you speak about the his stack, that's all. And if you ask the sum in C#, do you know the answer? Yeah. But in the same time, we have a 2 system in our nice company. We one system created in Java, and another system created in C#. And you decided to automate all of this. And yeah, of course, you prepare the automation for Java code in Java. You prepare automation for C# and C#. Also, you need to review something time to time. You need to know about it. And we'll come to interview as you come to interview as a quality assurance engineer. We speak only about engineers, yeah? The first question will be not about the programming. We'll be speaking about, I don't know, about testing maybe, about other thing. I don't know what will be asked you. The next questions will be something like this, difficult, yeah, some object-oriented questions. You will answer, hey, I know the Java. Okay, you know Java, very well. The next questions will be the same in a software interview. Something like this, you'll be to something. And that's not all. Behavior questions. Do you know why we'll ask behavior questions? Because every time quality assurance is coming to developers and prepare small behavior. Small behavior, yeah. How it works. And now we'll combine it all together. We need to look in what the quality assurance in normal quality assurance engineer. First of all, the quality assurance engineer the quality of the story that comes to your developer's desk before you start development. Yeah, we need to check acceptance criteria, what's inside, how it will be tested, something like this. Maybe time to time send it back to product owner and say, business value is 0, forgot about it. Goes to another way, we'll be try to speak about it. Create documentation, of course, because we use the modern technologies such as test-driven development, behavior-driven development. It means documentation must be prepared before, and maybe some automation tests must be prepared before. Of course, you'll be care about creating a support testing framework and automate all this process. That's also quality assurance engineer responsibility. Developers code review. Oh, you have so many developers on board. How many quality assurance engineers in your company do this? Review your code. 0. 0. And who check the quality of your unit tests? Other developers. And who will check the quality of your integration tests? And who generally they check the quality, the feature what you created? Another developers. It's very good. It's a very good answer because in reality it must be another developers. Clients, yeah. Real life checking production as usual.
My bottom line, my yearly bottom line is
my client.
Quality assurance.
Okay, and as I say, the next step, maybe your quality assurance so good guy will be created unit tests for you, integration tests for you, because you haven't the time for this, yeah. As you say, I haven't time for testing. Knows and about release engineering. Because he needs to send it your nice rated to another part of quality assurance guys know, then it's possible. Good. But, of course, the next thing what quality assurance must do all this. In which company all this test is done? No? Nobody do all. Hey, only one. That's all, yeah? In our country, it's not needed. I forgot about all this amount of the test. And very good quality assurance engineer know about all. And you can understand how many tools he must know. What in these places, what in this place. It's so difficult. And I changed your mind a little bit? Or you're thinking the development more harder? What do you think, guys?
Why your quality assurance engineers do not check for penetration testing?
Check it, yeah, too. That's true. All this. I think something else too. Yeah? What do you think, guys, now?
The
What's
question is,
difficult?
whenever quality assurance specialist who does all of that actually exists, and if he exists,
Correct.
then he exists a lot.
Yes, this is a correct answer. They haven't resources for quality assurance. Correct?
No, we don't have so good guys to pay them.
Why does it have to be a single role? Why can it not be broken down to multiple roles? For example, delegate release planning and release cycles to DevOps, then offload some segregate testing to some lower level, intermediate level, higher level, or by complexity, segregate them, chunk them, distribute the responsibility to several roles, pay less, hire more, that's it.
Yeah, it's a very good idea. How it works in reality, yeah? If you have a manual testing, hire some company who will prepare manual testing for you. If you want to have a load testing, hire another company who will prepare load testing for you. Yeah, it's normal, yeah. So if you try to create the good load test, you can't do it yourself. It's normal way, yeah. It's one idea. And as Kirill say, we haven't enough people who will do all this job. But maybe in this case, better to assign the contract with all your quality assurance guys, because you have not quality assurance engineers inside of your company. What do you think? How many quality assurance engineers who works with you want to be developers? You know? No, 100%. Yes. Yeah. And why we have a quality assurance specialist, normal quality assurance specialist? Because I think a quality assurance specialist, engineers, must come from developer to quality assurance, not vice versa. Better if you're hiring some junior developers, will be studied, will be know about your product all inside, and afterwards will be test all of this. It's my vision. But as you say, the salary stay the same. The quality assurance half of developers as usual. And so many big company, decided to rename and turn quality assurance engineer to software developers. I think it's a good reason why. And for me, this is all. I have 2 more slides. This is commercial slides, special for DEVCLUB participating. It's slides from, as today say our moderator, we have today a special day. The organization of DevOps will be on stage, and I will be present one of our partners, information partners from Kyiv. This is a CodeSpace company. This company organized. It's one of conference will be in October in Kyiv. Free working languages, DevOps conference. Yeah, for developers, for CTO, for CEO maybe too, IT companies, and for all of you guys. Special price. This is a full package, 4-day of conference. You only need to come to Tallinn airport, that's all. All hour will be on price together. Come to airport, it's the same package what have usually have speakers. Come to airport, total will be covered in the price. If somebody have a questions, you can connect it to me directly. Or if, of course, here some stairs, because it's included there air flight tickets. The price can air flight tickets and can be different time to time. But this is a very good idea to come to Kyiv and hear in our worlds what's around of us. Thank you very much. Maybe somebody have a questions. I'm ready to answer.
A question over there.
May I ask, thank you very much, first of all. May I ask what are options for quality models? I mean, should they be justified in some specific way? I mean, is there one understanding what is equality? And also there are many models in how you choose the right model for your case, for example.
If I understand correctly your questions, of course. I will be trying to understand correctly your questions. My vision, we not need to find some models. We need to care about equality at all. Yeah? That's all. Of course, we can, as you say, can hire 25 different people with different understanding, different knowledge, different something like this. But I think nevertheless we need somebody who will see the full pictures of your product. If you will be divided to some modules, yeah, one model will be working now, model now.
I can ask the same question differently.
If the product will fail for quality,
yeah,
whom to blame?
Company who produce this nice software.
If everyone is responsible, then no one is responsible.
So it's like CEO to blame or?
Usually, these questions, you try to say me that if you prepare some house, yeah, you create some house, who will be responsible if the wall will be not good, I say, look like it's not good for you. Who? Painter? Who painted, yeah, at the end. Forgot about other. Responsible quality assurance check all of this. If you have bad quality assurance guy on board, it means this guys is not speak with your product owner or is on production at the end. What we have now.
That means business.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
I have a question. So the problem definition is pretty clear from these slides, and the solution is not so much. Okay, we are in need of really experienced and very competent software software QAs, that software QA engineers that can see the product like throughout the whole vertical and they must know everything. Developers know everything, and product people know everything. DevOps know, and yet we are not. But we as the industry are not ready to pay premium for this. So this is the problem. How do we go from there?
I think I see in this stage what we have now, as I say, only one way. Never hire quality assurance engineers in your company. Never. Forgot about it. Hiring only developers. And look inside what you have as results, yeah? And somebody from developers will be say, I will be check all this code. I will be look on this, I want to be in this role. Of course you can say, hey. Now you haven't the people who won't be in this role only in one case. Because if salary will be the same, some people, I 100% I know these people who comes from development to quality assurance. Some of the people say I'm more interested be looking quality assurance thing. Because for me it's very important what my company will be produce very good software. And I will be, of course it's time to time these guys of course will be developers time to time checking some quality. But I think we don't need to separate these two roles. This is main point. Now we separated it, I don't know for what, but my idea that's not needed to separate.
So the idea is that developers should
Developers must guarantee the code, the quality of the code.
And may I continue? So looking on the circle of jobs to be done with the quality of the product, I know absolutely zero quality assurance specialists who can do all of that. So, I mean, just...
no offense, of course.
Yeah.
No. But we know each other for quite some years. And that is exactly the reason why quality assurance, as you described, cannot exist in one solid person. And it has to be distributed. It should be a quality assurance lead who understands areas, but he's not expert in any of them, and he basically conducts it. So he orchestrating. It's like these guys will be doing, will be busy with load testing. These guys will be doing some penetration testing work, and these guys are busy with something different. And then altogether it just...
Yeah, of course, maybe we need some who will be manipulate and will be involved in all this activity. But why your technical lead can do it?
I mean, one guy cannot do it.
Yeah, maybe. It depends on the volume of the job what you have.
Because there are lots of different areas.
Lots of different areas, yeah, you can't know all. Yeah, but you can find inside of your team, if you have team of 25 developers, inside of your team you can find one guy who will be responsible for the load testing, another guy who will be responsible for, who understand it better, of course, yeah. Knowledge is knowledge, yeah.
The quality assurance in one phase doing all of that is not possible.
It's not possible, yeah. Agree, totally, yeah. It's a big job. Something else?
Yes, a question.
Maybe it will not be a clever question, but I want to know. Sometimes ago, my cruise son has some troubles with his heart. He is the software at a very important soft company as a hard technology. that is American company in another country of European Union. And he asked me if I will death, please send my wife to my company for she employ as tester. His wife is obvious worker from factory. She has not any education. I asked him what is the idea of testing. He says that it means that she will test some program, she will input some digits in different regions, and if any region will be not good, she will note it and offer to the boss. That is idea of testing. I has experience of developing of soft. For me, it is not understanding why you say that testing is much hard and much important than development. What is your idea? If a lady with without any special education, worker of the factory can work as tester, what is the idea?
It's possible, why not? But in this case, we can speak about tester, not about quality assurance engineers. Here we speak about somebody who will be test the soft. And possible, yeah, because all of us test something every day, yeah? Who tests today the refrigerator? So many people, yeah, inside. Yeah, somebody tests your car every day. Every time we're a tester, we test something every day.
So
why not?
Yeah.
Maybe time to time you need a special education.
The same as testing?
Yes, so his point is that with the job you just described, there was no engineering involved.
Yeah.
Because I read annotation for your speech today, and here is a few times written testing.
I say engineering, yeah? It's mainly about engineering.
So yes,
Nothing
sorry,
inside.
Sorry
Sorry for
miscommunication, but the talk was about quality assurance engineering. How do you test software and ensure quality like by all other means programmatically, without or like sometimes of course apply manual measures, but mostly programmatically. How do you automate your quality assurance?
Because it's the same what I would say in my example, this house. You can check your house, yeah? When it's food. You goes to the house, the ladies especially, will say, oh, it's beautiful, it's nice, it's very beautiful, thank you very much for your job. Pay a little bit money for this and go out. But after 1 year, you go back and your nice wall will be completely destroyed. Because somebody forgot about correct materials, somebody forgot about engineering, somebody forgot about this angle is not possible in these places, something like this. But looks like it's very good. Maybe if you test your software like this way, oh, it looks like it's very good, yeah. Nice, works. But you don't know what is inside.
Quality of developing of the soft, yes?
Yeah.
Or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Thank
of course.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah. Usually, actually, at least I see from my experience, the hard place or the bottleneck is the business pressure or the managers who really rush the things out. And of course, we have tight schedules with deadlines, and managers have made a lot of promises to the stakeholders. And there is this pesky QI guy, who, by the way, does exist, and says that, hey, my load tests run 12 hours more, so we cannot release it after lunch today.
Well,
Yeah.
if
So
he
what-
says it runs 12 hours more, then he's not for that.
should
Some
be
load
done
tests,
yesterday.
you put your farm to the tests, and proper LPT test for a big system, I'm exaggerating of course,
Yeah, it can be a
big
lot of
system
time.
can take for weeks properly to test.
Yeah, it can be. It's a
So my question actually is, what is your advice to the managers who want to cut corners to please the stakeholders?
Risky. Just
It's
sit
a
back
risk.
and
No.
watch the show.
It's a risk that must be eliminated for the stakeholders. If the normal manager comes to stakeholders say, guys, today we can't release whatever you want. We have all of this. We create all of this. It's not enough tested. These results are half risky, and better way to show it to your shareholders in the some digit, in euro and dollars, whatever. If you'll have some problem as results, we lose this amount of the money. But maybe not, but it's lottery. That's all. Do you want to play with this lottery? Yes, please sign this nice document. You're ready to play. That's all. Sign up the release. That's answer.
It's a risk assessment then.
Yes.
That's a normal process.
Normal process, yeah.
And it's not lottery, it's mathematics.
Lottery is also mathematics.
No, it is mathematics.
Mathematics,
There are
yeah.
statistical probabilities, you
Yes.
can take out
Yeah,
insurance
yes,
against it, you can do all kind of things.
Yeah, I agree.
The
Totally.
same goes about NASA mission launches or concept organization. If you have like 1 million euros and you have to organize an event for 2 million people, where do you spend this 1 million euros? What is the most for security? What is the most important place to spend it? Where is the most bang for the buck? That's the same question.
That's the same question.
There's all kinds of methodologies for it, all kinds of mathematics behind it.
Yeah.
How do you actually decide and how do you calculate it?
You can calculate.
You can draw the risk trees and whatever there are.
Risk management, yeah, usually used all of this.
I would totally agree with that, but in a rush hour, people tend to be irrational and start to get hasty. But yeah, otherwise, of course.
If you haven't a time for testing, you will be not prepare the testing. Yeah, we know. The last operation is testing, but we discussed it once on the workshop. Yeah, this is a place what must be deleted from your process.
That's true.
You must test it every time, not at the end. That's usual thing. Complete on together, send it to some quality assurance. I don't know, stars. If you have stars in your company, real stars, maybe as I will say, 20-25 hours, more than enough, and some stars will prepare some techniques, magic. It will be take 2 seconds.
So in ideal development process, testing is not needed.
Yes, I am agree.
So if you need 1 week in order to test after each commit software, then your development process is far way too difficult.
No, I mean LPT, long period testing, because the software, I'm not talking about the feature, I'm talking about the whole product that the client will use.
So it's like simulated long
If you have seen Windows LPT runs, they run for years on special virtual machines.
Maybe, but then you say like, okay, after a couple of years we will release it?
Ready to release.
Maybe.
Maybe.
So, any other questions? Also here. So
Good.
thank you so much. Let's have a break. Get some snacks, get some drinks, beers, yes. You wish. Be back there and we'll like talk about
What does perfect even mean? Is there even such a thing? Ooh, can we switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia? Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to see, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a, yeah. Yeah, I've discussed it with myself, and I'm disgusted with the way we're told to have a certain face, a certain weight, because we aren't pixels on a screen. No, we're human, we breathe. Every single thing we see curated, it's overrated. These expectations, they keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to think, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a, yeah.
I was ready to surrender my heart to you, only you. These lights all around me keep blinding my eyes from you and the truth. Don't tell me, don't tell me, don't tell me why. I know, no, no, you won't save my life, save my life. Baby, keep on, you're making the waves. You and I will never be safe, be safe. If the walls come down, don't tell me why. I know, no, no, you won't save my life. Save my life. Baby, keep on, you're making the waves. You and I will never be safe. Be safe. If the walls come down, will you pick me off the ground? If the walls come down, will you save me or burn me down?
Do you remember how you held me then? Now you got me reaching out. And do you see you got me falling in more times than I can get out. Down in the deep of my mind, I call for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, how long do I got to keep you, to keep you? Down in the deep of my mind, I call for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, trying so hard not to keep you, to keep you. How long do I got to keep you, to keep you? Trying so hard not to keep you, to keep you. Do you remember how you held me then? Now you got me reaching out. Yeah. And do you see you got me falling in more times than I can get out. Down in the deep of my mind, I call for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, how long do I got to keep you, to keep you? Down in the deep of my mind, I call for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, trying so hard not to keep you, to keep you.
say.
We are ready to proceed with second speaker for tonight's DevClub event. DevClub, the Google Cloud Developer Community, David member Erwin will share his experience with Google Assistant. So please welcome.
Okay, hello everybody. And before we start, I would like to ask, how experienced you are on topic of Google Assistant, chatbots, or human interfaces that involve speech in general. Could you please raise the hands if you ever wrote or used a chatbot? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What about
Using counts, right?
what?
Using counts. Right?
Yes, using counts. What about using some voice-enabled assistant like Siri or others? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And who of you did ever develop some kind of voice assistant? Sorry, there will be nothing new for you today. But for others, I would like to share my personal journey on discovering Google Assistant and using Google Assistant. Technical break, sorry. No. Yes. That's probably much better. So, you probably know me from one of the three communities because I'm kinda active in the Estonian IT communities. I'm dealing with DevClub, PostgreSQL community, and recently I started the Google Cloud community. And Google Cloud community is part of Google Developer Network, and it currently is one of the 1,000 basically communities around the world. And very important slide is, while I was introduced in the beginning as somewhat associated with Google, I'm actually not. I do not work for Google, and any opinions are my private not the official Google ones. And this is the agenda for today. I will a bit talk about how and why I started using Google Assistant, and I talk a bit about how I started to develop things for it. Why digital assistant in general? There are different reasons, and in my opinion, the main reason is that people are lazy. That is key to evolution and development of many things. For example, if we would prefer to do all the things by hand, there will be no automobiles or dishwashers or any other convenient things that we enjoy every day. But problem is that to get help with day-to-day tasks, you usually need some kind of human assistant, somebody who helps you to get your business goals done, who keeps your agenda, and usually there are specially educated person to do it, but not everyone can afford to have like one assistant. And obviously machines are much cheaper than humans, so it makes sense to delegate the tasks that can be delegated to the machine. It's absolutely not new idea. The famous Alan Turing test was from very, very long time ago. It will be soon 100 years. And what are use cases for voice control? Like when it actually makes sense to use one. For example, if your hands are dirty and you cannot touch any keyboard or tap any screens because, I don't know, you are cooking, for example, or you are a builder from the previous talk and you are just painting the wall, for example, and you cannot touch the device to do some urgent tasks. And second reason is maybe you are lying on the sofa and there is no remote control nearby and you can't reach your phone, so you just speak, "Dear kid, please bring me the phone." But you can automate that, if only your phone would listen for you. And my personal expectations for such assistant are quite simple. I would like to use simple egg timer, I need a weather forecast, and I would like in the morning to get my schedule and tips for my day today, like what I should be doing. But because I'm involved in DevClub community, I of course also develop for things, so think that I'm choosing for myself to be my digital assistant, it has to be in some way extensible, so I can add new functionality to it if I want to. And what are the options today? Here are listed the most notable ones, but in reality there are much more available assistants today, because most phone manufacturers, for example, they introduce their own private assistant that helps you on the products of that specific company, be it Samsung or Sony, for example. Siri, yes?
It said that Google Assistant was introduced in 2016, but before that, Google had almost since Siri times, Google had Hey Google.
Yes, that is correct, but it was a bit different thing. It was interface to search. It was not intended to help you with your daily tasks. But this is kinda yes, if your personal results are discoverable on search graph. But it's a nice discussion. Let's do it after the official talk. It's important to point out that Siri is first modern assistant. There were assistants before that. There have been voice-controlled kids' toys, for example, but in the sense that we think about digital assistants today, Siri was the first one. And it's actually available to buy in the stores here in Estonia. But sadly, I would say that Apple has lost the momentum. There are only evolutionary updates to Siri.
Wrong there.
What?
Wrong there. Huge improvement in last year.
Tell us. Tell us.
No, I mean, if you look at the comparison with the Google, they're almost in the level again.
Yes and no.
Like 1,000 question test, something. Google is at like at 90% and Siri was like at 89 or something like that.
Yeah, because
but that's in the US.
Yes, of course, because
everything in the US doesn't do
yes,
anything
yes,
in Estonia.
that's why I'm having separate notice on the slides that you can get it here in Estonia or you cannot.
Yeah, you can get them all, but it don't work actually really well.
And I think the good news is that Apple is setting the trend, because actually all cloud providers are currently working towards somehow improving the user privacy, but Apple is officially like putting it first, like, yeah, we Apple, we care about users' privacy, so give us our data, please. And if you are looking at serious market, then usually Apple products are used by people who are actually wealthy. So there is a potentially wealthy market for you if you choose that platform. Cortana, historically it was second big assistant. It came after Siri and it was done by Microsoft. They took the assistant from the computer game and made it work in real life. But problem with Microsoft is that Cortana was appearing first in the Windows mobile phone, and today we actually have no Windows phone anymore. And Microsoft is actually in interviews mentioning that, yeah, Cortana will not compete with Siri or Google Assistant, but instead we will refactor it. And you will be able to talk to Cortana to do your Azure tasks or Office tasks through our assistants. Yes, please.
Can DEVCLUB.EE count as first ever assistant?
It had no voice interface. And DEVCLUB.EE was not the first. Microsoft had another product which had similar assistant years before DEVCLUB.EE. Thank you. Third contestant, Alexa from Amazon. Good functionality, voice purchases enabled by default. So if any of you is Amazon Prime member, your shopping will be simplified. You just think of it or shout to somebody in the apartment about that thing, and boom, it will get delivered in few days.
Or your children's shopping.
We get to that. Nice functionality about Alexa is the wake word is customizable. You don't have to say, okay, Google, or hey Siri. You can pick any word you want. And officially shipping Alexa to Estonia from Amazon is possible. And maybe if you don't want to share your personal data with Apple or with Google, it might be an interesting option to you.
Then share it with Amazon.
Yeah. What can go wrong? I will tell that I'm biased with Google Assistant, and you will notice that for the reminder of this talk dedicated to Google Assistant, but let's go. Initially, it was exclusive to Google hardware, just like many other assistants. And you still cannot get officially the Google Assistant here in Estonia, sorry. Basically, it's not available due to legislation and market being too small to translate the whole Google Assistant to Estonian. We get there. But if you really want to, you can use it on his phone, or you can buy the phone from Nokia. If you prefer the Android One devices, which are not bloated with custom firmware from manufacturer, you probably have Google Assistant. Or you can get a Chromebook, for example. Google Assistant was first who allowed you to have multiple people in one household to use same device, and device would attempt to distinguish different people by the voice and show to each person the relevant information. And given it's Google, Android user base is huge, so potentially it's biggest by number of devices today. Notable mention, which probably will not be good business target, but will be of personal interest to everybody in this room. Who has heard about this name before? Yay, I see 2 hands. Basically, it's an open source alternative on Apache license that you can use, you can fork it on GitHub, and you can basically make your own device using it. It still uses cloud currently, but we are having ongoing effort to have the cloud part forkable as well, so you can have your own cloud for your own device. And you can use it on Linux quite easily. And I think if you are concerned with privacy, being able to see the whole source code is something of your interest. But I really don't see any revenue from that platform to me. When you are picking some kind of smart assistant, you have very different flavors. Depending on your use case, you can pick different device. It can be smartwatch, it can be phone, it can be something integrated into your TV or into your car, or it can be a standalone device that is always at the same place in your house, be it speaker or the screen. Basically, your choice will be to pick ecosystem, like Apple, Google, somebody else, and decide on form factor if you want to use assistant. And what about privacy options? I will give you a few moments to read that clearly, that I think there is not much privacy with digital assistants, and there are compelling reasons why. Because we want assistant to help with our tasks. I want my assistant to know about my schedule, my agenda, about what I have to do, and remind me about upcoming anniversary. So the assistant needs the data. It's obvious. And if it has always on microphone, it means you don't have to stand up and go to interact with him. You can initiate at any time. You say, help me, and it will help you. Of course, some devices will have a microphone switch. You can turn off the microphone, and a few moments later, you will need to come to the device and turn the microphone back on because you want to interact with the device. And you always have a cloud service behind. Basic reason for that is, can you imagine, for example, Wolfram Alpha or any other computational engine with terabytes of knowledge installed directly on your mobile phone or in your basement of your house? It's not possible unless you are a very, very wealthy person, but you're probably not here in that case. Yes?
Approach to this AI data processing can be as well hybrid. For example, Apple with Siri,
we get there. Thank you.
Like on your chip, and then part of the data descends over the wire.
Yes, yes. That's exactly the case for many providers. Google is experimenting with this as well. But problem here is that your data eventually will still get to the cloud one way or another.
Yes, some of it, of course.
And for many people, it might be a problem for different reasons. Just feeling of privacy, or feeling that somebody is following you, or maybe you don't want to be researched by your local police department too intensively. And just like was said here on the front row, the companies are working on reducing their own access to the customer data, because for them it's important to show, hey customers, you can get your data to us because we can't actually see it and we cannot deliver it to law enforcement if they come and take our service away. But there are many fun things happening with smart assistants anyway. For example, in 2017 was an interesting case where the small girl had used Alexa device to order a dollhouse because she was interacting with device, and all Amazon devices have purchases enabled by default. So in few days, the dollhouse arrived, girl was happy, parents were not, they asked for a refund, and the story got to the local TV station. And reporter said, oh, I like that girl saying, Alexa ordered me a dollhouse. Fun fact is that Alexa heard that on TV and ordered many, many dollhouses that day. Another interesting thing with assistants is that you can have a smart door lock. Imagine this scenario, please. You rent a car, you drive around the neighborhood, and you just ask the door to open. It sounds funny until you realize that it happened more than once. So how could look the house in today, like if we are very concerned with privacy and we want to live cozily in it? Obviously, you have firewall on every cable. You are probably living in Faraday shield to not get your personal data through wireless network outside of your apartment. It has to be soundproof because you don't want cars in neighborhood to direct your door to open. Probably you want to detach from the local power grid as well, because who knows what's in the cable. So maybe like this. If you didn't run away by that part of presentation, I will say how I did pick the Google Assistant for me. I was Gmail user, so Google already had most of my personal data. I was using Android as well. And after that, I started thinking that, okay, there is a data set about me. If I opt in and use some part of that data set to my benefit, I will benefit for it. If I opt out, the data set is still there, but I don't get use from it. So it was beneficial for me to opt in and start using Google Assistant because the data is already there and it didn't make anything worse for me. So decision is made. Okay, Google, where can I find the assistant? And you go to local shops. First of all, let's define the local shop as the shop that delivers not only inside the European Union, but also delivers into Estonia. Because more than one shop in the Central and Western Europe say we don't deliver to Estonia, we deliver only inside the European Union. And I found following prices. Basically, you have to pay 60 euro for just speaker. Or if you want to have a screen, you have to pay almost 200. It was not nice because at the same time, the Google had official promotion in their official store where you can have both for under the 100. Important to remember is that in the States and here in Europe, we have slightly different frequencies for both the cellular networks and for Wi-Fi. So if you're importing something, you have to be aware about it. And so I got the assistant, I put it in my kitchen, and I started experimenting with him. I was amazed that actually he is able to understand my English quite well, even if I don't have a correct pronunciation and English is not my native. It was a really, really awesome photo frame because the photos appeared automatically from my call-out album, and yeah, it can play Spotify for me if I ask it to. It has quite normal night mode. When you turn off the lights, it will dim the screen and you will see just barely, very, very not bright, absolutely not bright watch face, and you will see current time. And you can use it to make calls between the rooms. For example, you don't need to shout through several doors to your kid. You can just ask Google to do it for you. And speaking about the kid, my kid actually did like it. It was interesting for him to interact, and he actually asked me for English dictionary, which was yes. Obviously, every product, even if it passed quality assurance engineers and testing, it's not perfect. Problems that I noticed are if you say, okay, Google, and you're standing in front of, for example, speaker. Sometimes, I don't know by what logic, Google decides to respond not to the closest device, but to some other device. So you can hear from other room answer to your question, or even don't hear. Obviously, you can work around it by limiting each device at home to single user, but it's not that convenient. bigger problem. It doesn't understand the Estonian language. While I speak English and I can ask most questions in English, there is still problem. If I want to, if I want to order the taxi, there are two problems. For some reason, I can't order the Bolt or Taxify via assistant in Estonia. Like, if somebody from Bolt is here, please fix it. And secondly, if you ask for Estonian street name, it will not understand you. And he often confuses voices of people in my apartment. Google is working on the fix, and actually they will use camera to detect person in front of the device, so we can narrow down the search scope and be more exact of who is using device. Is the Google Assistant a business opportunity or the platform where you should develop on? Actually, you have to take all the same considerations as for picking mobile platform. Do I even need to bother? Whom? Apple, Google, somebody else? And actually, will it help me to keep my customers? And will it be useful to my customers in any way? And if you answered yes to most of these questions, let's take a look how you can put your application into Google Assistant. Because there are different form factors, there are actually 3 ways to put your application into it. Actions on Google is product name that you are looking for if you are developing something for Google Assistant. Actions is interaction between customer and device, and is most often some kind of dialogue. You can add the video and images to your dialogue, but most often it will be speech-based, where human asks question in human voice and the reply is played back. You can integrate Assistant with your Android application. You can optimize your web content so it will be more usable on Google Assistant, or you can develop something from scratch. If you use public web, you can, for example, do an FAQ page or recipe that will be rendered in Google Assistant a proper way, and sometimes if somebody of users asks like how to make, I don't know, boiled egg, your recipe may be picked for answering the user question. It will use the same semantics as usual Google search. So all the things that you don't know about relevancy and how the algorithm of search engine works still applies here. Fun thing is that most of the ways to put public web markup optimized for Google Assistant is not working yet. You can sign up for beta and get access, but today only podcasts are working in intended way. If you add some markup to definition and RSS feed of your podcast, it will be discoverable by Assistant users. And there are 2 kinds of markup that you can use, JSON-LD and microdata. JSON-LD is basically a separate comment that is designed only for machine, and you put it in header of your page. And microdata is used inline of your HTML tags, making content more understandable for the machine. And there are people who say if you do that, your page content will rank a bit higher on Google. It may be true, it may be false, no one knows exact algo. And that way it doesn't ensure that customers will interact with your application, because either they are heated or somebody else more relevant will be returned to them. Obvious exception is if you are very, very trending news source, for example, then Google may prioritize you, but only until you get some reports of fake news, for example. You can enrich your existing Android application. There is no way to do it on iPhone, but for Android application, if you have Android 5 or higher, you can have following things. If your application is about food, fitness, finance, or ride sharing, where are templates that you can use for your application. If you have generic app that does anything else, you can teach Google Assistant to go to specific screen of your application and maybe pre-fill some data inside it. For example, you can ask Google Assistant to show some report in application and call application by name. It's quite simple to use. So if you have Android application, it can be worth development time because it shouldn't take much time to make application callable through Google Assistant. Yet it may bring some convenience to your existing Android users. And third way is when you do something especially for Google Assistant, like from scratch. And again, you have three options. If you are a very popular media source in your area, then probably you will reach a partnership with Google where Google will do all the heavy lifting and you just provide content. You can use some kind of template-based generators where you provide content that is for some special category and Google will generate application for you. Or you can use a tool called Dialogflow. It's combination of editor and IE that allows you to put dialogue with variables, and I'm leaving that out of today's talk because time constraint. I see Kirill is already watching on the watch. So, yeah. So let's do a small demo. I decided that simplest demo will be using template, and if we do a quiz about DevClub. So to do that, I will go to the actions on Google. As you see, I currently have no projects, so I just create one.
Can you make it?
I can.
Zoom in?
Yep. So, what should I call it? Let's call it DevClub Alpha Quiz. Our country is Estonia, and we create the project. Does anyone have any kind of questions currently? Because it will take like few seconds to generate.
When is the next step?
Can
it answer?
Not yet. But you can teach him. Now I'm presented with templates that can help me. I'm picking template. Let's do trivia. He's asking what kind of voice I would like to use. Let's pick random. Next. Now he asks me for content. I did my homework, so I created a spreadsheet with some questions, and I can just upload it here. Simple Google spreadsheet that has questions and few answers to each of questions. Now I just click Create Tab, and boom. Yeah, demo effect. Now it's you reading my spreadsheet and dropping it into the application. Ask questions and wait for correct answers. Maybe somebody has any questions?
Would you create this using voice commands?
Yes, but it would use the Apple dictation to navigate the browser. Now it's ready and I can go to simulator. It's English. I have to pick the draft version because I don't have any other. And let's see how it would work on the smart display. I told him to start the application, and it asks about questions about the Dev Club. I can see how it would look on display, or I can go to the voice mode and see how it will be speaking to my application. For example, the first question was, where was the first Dev Club event in Estonian language? What's the correct answer? Who knows?
Who knows? Yes, that is correct.
First option. First option. It doesn't pick my voice currently for some reason. But basically, you upload the question, it wraps them into the application. To save a bit of time, I think I'll skip the demo for now, and after end of the talk, you can come closer and we see why it didn't work. Now let's reverse the question. What if I already have some kind of application and I want to add the Google Assistant to it? Not like adding my application to Google Assistant device, but adding the magic of Google to my application. There is an SDK for that. And obviously, it's again online only service. And you have two options, either Python library or you can use online RPC calls. Both allow you to include some kind of artificial intelligence in your product, but they have completely different feature sets. But both, in general, take an audio file for you and return some information to you also as audio file. And to play with them, there are such things as IU projects. I still haven't decided that is it a toy or is it a dev kit, but for this talk important is that there is a kit that includes speaker, Raspberry Pi, a bit of cardboard, and it works and acts as both real Google Assistant and as Google Assistant kit, dev kit. So question to audience, if you would have such kit, what would you develop? Like, please, generate some ideas.
A smart speaker, it's literally a decomposed smart speaker, no?
It's basically decomposed Google smart speaker, yes. So I can revert the question. If you would be making your first program for the smart speaker, what would it be?
Smart home.
A bit more of smart home.
Enabling turning on lights, summer rooms, so we can make recipes.
Okay, any other ideas?
To get the software.
Yeah, but remember, okay Siri, open the door, case. So any other ideas?
Well, when you have a home bar, you can hook it up to a beer barrel, maybe you have three different ones. So when you say to the assistant what you want, they can pour you a beer or another drink.
So basically, you need some kind of smart power outlet that will pour your beer.
Activate, yeah.
So very smart home, just smart home. Any other ideas?
Toast generator.
Toast generator.
Just continue this topic.
So
Come
when
a
you
beer
go
and
to
say
the
like
real
next
life,
toast, and it just says you next toast.
Okay, any other ideas?
Going further on this one, then when your phone gets disconnected from your work network, then it pours you one, right?
Okay, and shots fire automatically. Could you please come up here? You, yes, you. Well, there is a small gift from Google to you.
Oh.
Just go for it. And we are waiting for the pics of that.
All right. Thanks.
But be sure to share the pictures. We want to see the beer coming.
That's what happens here, like, instead the lady in the bar.
Much cheaper. So, small recap. I did leave a boring history of last 50 years of computer science and evolution of assistants. And I just acknowledge that assistants existed before me, Siri was the first modern one. They are very helpful today. It's up to us to make them even more helpful in the future. And what next? I would like you to think if your business case can be supported by some kind of smart assistant. Because here in Estonia, currently, there is not much that you can do with Google Assistant. Unless we do develop some local software that works and interacts with Google Assistant and other smart speakers and smart devices, we will make our lazy life much simpler.
Yeah, but the biggest barrier is the language problem.
Not for people in this audience, for example.
Yeah,
but yes, you have to obey the law and provide similar functionality in local languages.
We are working on it, but it's slow progress. Estonian is not the easy language.
I know. But maybe, for example, your target audience is not in Estonia. Maybe your company is developing something for Silicon Valley.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you for your attention.
So this was it for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Next DEVCLUB, on Thursday, there will be one in Russian, so speak Russian and welcome. We are Google. Here, right? That's all. That's it. Don't waste some time. American Hotel is going to roll. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. See you in a month.
And this company wants to keep the deadline, they want to do something.
Я там папу позвал,